in your opinion, what are the key skills and competencies that leaders should possess to create a thriving organizational culture?
First of all, to have a vision. As I said before, not only to have a vision, but to have a clear vision. And to have a clear vision that it would be easy to delegate to his workers and his and the people that are managers in the company to deliver it on. The main aspect of a successful company is people that identify with the core essence of the company. I spoke it before, and it's extremely important, because if you don't identify with the core essence of the company, so you will have your own translation about it, and the other one will have his own translation about it, the other one his translations about it, and it will be chaos, you know? A company should go in a certain way, aligned to the same core, the same essence, the same vision. And if it's so with all the managers and workers, it would be a successful company. Doesn't matter what's in what field.
Mm-hmm. And that's that really resonates with. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the work of Jim Collins, author of Good to Great and a lot of quite famous business books, and a fantastic social scientist. And that's exactly what he talks about. There's a few other books that is sort of like, if everybody kind of knows that the details, to use a military term, the commander's intent, if you know what the larger goal is, much of that minutia, especially when another famous military phrase is, you know, every plan is, even the best laid plans are, was that all plans survive everything but first contact with the enemy. So the idea that in the battlefield, and including in business, it's so dynamic that if there isn't that clear vision you're describing, that people can make real-time decisions, they can't put it up the chain. There's no time. That if everybody knows what the destination is, and vision is exactly the word that Jim Collins uses, then for the most part, they don't need to babysit each other. The highers don't need to babysit the lowers because they're going in the same direction.
I will add another thing to that, and it is that a good manager and a good leader should know when to seek for advice, you know, and it's obvious that you don't know everything, and there are areas that you need assistance, and not to be ashamed and not to be afraid to call for assistance. You know, I think that Hitler lost the war. You know, in the beginning, it was quite unbelievable what happened there, you know, but he wasn't a military man. He wasn't a general himself. He had the fantastic generals that knew exactly what to do, and he needed to tell them what to do, but he didn't have he wasn't capable of doing that, you see. But he was sure that all the truth is with him. He knows everything. He didn't seek for assistance, and this was the end of the German army.
Right. It's interesting because the whole idea, it was actually I can't remember, but it was from a business book, but the whole idea of the principle of commander's intent as now used in a lot of businesses actually came when the Allied forces, the Allied was the US and the West. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so the Allied had such a problem dealing with the Luftwaffe, I believe it's called. Anyway, the German forces, and one of the reasons was Germany was using commander's intent, so they had that sort of agility on the ground that the Allied forces didn't. So they were slower to respond, and like I said, and now, you know, as most people in the world, I wasn't exactly in support of the German cause at that time, but their way of doing it, using commander's intent, was very powerful. And that's what gave them a significant strategic advantage, or so I've read. I don't know anything about military history, but it was interesting. A clear vision gives you the ability to be really agile. So it's an interesting lesson from a complex situation like a battlefield. So the next question then is,